I had some notes on the definition of the fourth state of consciousness, enlightenment. And a lot of people don't know this, but the fourth state is considered the state of enlightenment. And of the three accepted states that everyone agrees on, we've got awake state, dream state, and deep sleep state. And the fourth state is called deep sleep while awake. And one of my notes was about what is the percentage of these states do we exist in? You know, it's like, well, what's the percentage of, deep sleep do we reach compared to the percentage of awake state, compared to the percentage of dream state, you know? And it's like, and then I have a little note here. It says, stillness is harder than thinking. You know, it's like, well, the reason that that could be possible is because we don't spend any time in stillness. You know, we spend most of our time in thinking. And could stillness be considered deep sleep? You know? It's like, I know I experienced a level of stillness in the storage unit that I could probably describe as a peace that surpasseth all understanding. And it really only took about 3 days or 4 days to experience that stillness, you know, compared to what I was used to, you know, awake state, just constantly. Like, so we're stuck in awake state. There's some of these people out here that are living on the streets. They experience that. I think they really experience a high level of awake state, almost to the point where, you know, they're in it all the time, you know. And what happens if you're in awake state all the time is you essentially start going crazy. You know, you start talking to yourself all the time. And not that talking to yourself is bad. I don't think it's bad. We do it anyway, whether we actually physically talk or not. But I was just observing a couple of people that are homeless over here, kind of where I'm hanging out, you know. And what happened to them was they wound up crashing out. It's like they slept like all day yesterday and the night before that, you know, and then some today, you know. And it's like they just couldn't get enough sleep. And of course, you know, there's a cell phone tower not far from here, and a pretty high radiation level all the time. I'm in about 600 or 700, 800 right now, all the time, while I'm charging my phone and uploading my videos, because I got to do it by a plug because it drains my battery so fast that I won't get the upload done before the battery dies. But I mean, essentially they were exhausted, you know, and what they needed to do was recover. You know, so they needed to let go of that constant awake state, and that's the way that I look at how to approach enlightenment. You know, it's like you go to sleep, you know, and that's the easiest thing to do, but nobody's really put an emphasis on it. It's like very few people put an emphasis on just, you know, being still and doing nothing and going to sleep and staying asleep. You know, it's like it's a social faux pas. You're not allowed to do that or something, you know, unless you're hungover or, you know, just been up too long or, you know, whatever. And so it's like, you know, and I know the other thing, the other emphasis that you could run on is that this constant radiation that we're receiving is really exhausting. You know, it's like it's running our cells around, you know, where our cells are not really able to relax, you know, and flow. And I've told a story about the lady that looks at her blood cells under the microscope a number of times in these videos. And it's like when they're all bunched up like in a traffic jam, you know. You know how a traffic jam, it's like it's stressful, right? It's like everybody's being herded around, and you've got to, you know, stay vigilant and you know, pay attention, and you know, you're getting pushed around, and you can't really relax, you know, and you can't breathe because you're not getting any oxygen, you know. So I've noticed in this situation that I'm in, here's my situation. Okay, here's my stuff. Okay, and I'm in this plaza again. You know, it's just a big long plaza, and it's pretty cool that this is here, particularly when it starts really raining bad. Look at this cloud coming up here. It's pretty cool, huh? What a sky. But it's like when I lay down, like I could lay down right here, and it's almost like I go into a coma, you know, for a minute, you know. It's like, because I'm so tired, I go from an awake state to almost, you know, a deep sleep state, like really rapidly. And then I'm jarred awake, almost like I'm experiencing sleep apnea, you know. And I've talked about that in videos before, that I have sleep apnea, and that I'll stop breathing and I'll wake up, and it's a terrifying experience to wake up, you know, almost dead because you don't have any oxygen, you know. But then I think about that too, and I think that's very similar to what Ramana Maharshi did. He laid down in his bedroom and he stopped breathing for like 20 minutes. And that was the beginning of his enlightenment experience. And he left his house and took a train to Arunchala. And from there, he continued to meditate, but he had to go in the catacombs to do it because the boys were tormenting him while he was trying to meditate. And then he went into meditation so long in the catacombs that the bugs almost ate him, and he almost died from that. But it's like, man, what a lot of work he had to do to just get to an environment that was safe enough for him to just, you know, go to sleep and abide in this deep sleep long enough and wake up. And that's exactly how it felt to me in the storage unit. Was I finally reached deep sleep, and I woke up to a vision of these 3 or 4 masters in the dark, and they telepathied me and told me, do not worship us, we're just like you are, we're just not you. Tremendously vivid, even though I couldn't see them, it was tremendously vivid experience, to the point where I, you know, adamantly smashed all my idols the very next day when I woke back up from, so I saw these masters, then I went back to sleep, and then it was like the next morning I woke up and I was completely refreshed and renewed, and just as clear as a bell, and peaceful, a peace that surpassed all understanding, a fearlessness that I had never experienced before, just absolutely fearless. Still messed up from my Kundalini, you know, I just burnt myself down physically, okay, but I don't think any of that's really necessary. It just happened to be my circumstances. I had really difficult circumstances approaching this experience. I don't think we have to do that. I think you can do it by finding a safe place to go in the dark and go to sleep. But prior to that, you want to clean yourself up with distilled water. You also may want to have some oil in you, like some olive oil, some really good quality olive oil, which will, if your Kundalini wakes up, you won't burn your nervous system down and have cold sweats like I did for 6 months. And there's probably some other suggestions that I'm missing, and some other things that can be articulated. Dan Winter has some really incredible thoughts on this, and I'm real interested in what he has to say. Unfortunately, I'm still in an unfortunate situation, and that is that I'm in the wrong crowd. I'm in the wrong crowd of people, or I'm absent from the wrong crowd of people that would help me to to confirm and to support this kind of thinking. This is unorthodox thinking according to the majority of society, and yet it's been fully established throughout history by all the yogis, and so it's a silly situation that I got myself into, really. But at the same time, I'm just absolutely compelled to tell what I know. So, I'm that's, the tough karma of spiritual Chuck. And you got your own tough karma. I don't know what it looks like, but you got it. Because if you're listening to me, you're not quite all the way there, and you're not quite all the way gone, So wherever that is, maybe we're ships half full. Where the 3 ships sailing, one full, one half full, and one empty. When they got to the port, the empty one was tore apart. And the half full one, maybe he's wandering around in Florida. I made a video earlier, and my eyes all looked like they'd been attacked by mosquitoes, and my feet too, but they're looking better. They had 1,000 mosquito bites on them. Can you see all those little bitty dots? It's like, man, they had dinner on me last night, or the last few nights. I feel like Ramana in the catacombs getting eat up. But it doesn't matter, it's like, it's not really a big deal unless unless that's your point of focus, which it's not for me. I've got my water, so I just put some water. On my feet and my eyes where they've been attacking my eyes, and go on. So probably need to find an environment where I can just do nothing. Go through the waters from above, the distilled water, and really clarify myself, and then go into the dark. Pretty simple. Maybe I'm overcomplicating things. Could be. I've been known to do that. Anyway, I'm going to get my boots on, and I'm going to go talk to this lady. Shout out to Jessica, because she talked to me the other day about her enlightenment experience when she was in Hawaii. And man, I just love to hear the witness of her experience, and maybe be in her presence for a minute. And it ain't what you think it is, it's not like that, it's just another person that's open to the possibilities of the levels of consciousness that exist within us. the plasma consciousness, the universal consciousness that just keeps me going. That's the source of the amazement. You know, it's just amazing. And I may stop by and see the moth that I couldn't help make his exodus. But it's rained since then, so he's probably, I don't know. But life's a trip. I've been kind of taking it easy today, and it's probably a good thing. Anyway, more later. Bye. 15 minutes? Are you kidding me? All right. You're probably gone already. Peace, love, and light.